After years of running sports fan pages and posting loads of other faceless content, I am now working on growing my personal brand on X. And I tracked my progress over the past week, which I'm going to show to you a bit later. But first, let me give you some background. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you've probably seen some of my videos about how to get 5 million impressions, 500 followers, and solve other problems on X. And all of those videos followed my journey to monetization on Ensign Gridiron and Ensign Hoops, two of my faceless sports accounts. Now, as I mentioned, I am working on growing my personal account, which currently has around 150 followers. And I have gotten to this point by following a few steps. Posting at least once a day, replying to other creators with genuine comments, responding to everyone who comments on my posts, learning from other creators, and funneling people from this YouTube channel to my account. I think it's really important that I note that last item because I have an unfair advantage. There are more than 10 times as many subscribers to this YouTube channel as there are people who follow my X account. But the other steps are still important because if people went from my YouTube channel to my X account and they saw that I was never posting, then they wouldn't follow me. And there are actually lots of people who will come to my X account for the first time and be confused because a lot of my videos are about monetization and my personal account is not monetized. Well, I'm working to change that. So the goal of this series is to showcase what I'm trying, what's working and not working, and all the things that I'm learning as I try and grow my account to 1,000 followers. I want to take you guys not quite from zero, but from about 150 all the way up to 1,000 and show you what it takes. And who knows, if things go past that, maybe I will continue this series beyond that point. Okay, so the first day that I started tracking was March 20th, 2024. So the first post I made this day is a 200 follower milestone post. Now, this is a bit awkward because I just told you I have 150 followers. I will explain what happened in just a second, but the idea behind milestone posts is that they are good for engagement. Lots of people like to comment on them and tell you congratulations or give you encouragement. So it's good to post these kinds of posts because people will respond to them. And it's also a great way to take people along with you on your journey. Another thing that is good about these posts is I was able to teach my followers what I did to get to that point. Okay, and then the second post I made on that day was my weekly thought that I usually post on LinkedIn. So I'm not focused very much on LinkedIn right now. I use it mainly at my day job, but I like to try and post on there just once a week. And then I also post that same post on X. And basically this post is just what's ever been on my mind for the past week. So in this case, I was thinking a lot about what it takes to be successful. So I made a post about showing up every day. And then the last thing I'll say about this day is I don't typically schedule out all my posts or sit down and write all my posts for the week. Usually what I do is when I have some inspiration for a post, I will sit down and write it up, and then I'll either post it right away or I'll save it in my drafts for a day when I don't have anything to post. So at the end of day one, I had 201 followers, so that's +1 followers on the day. Okay, then day two. This was March 21st. So my first post of the day was talking about one of my philosophies, which is that It's not about the streak. So this post was inspired by a reply that I made on a different post. And if you're struggling for content ideas, this is a great way to come up with ones, is spend some time replying to other creators. And if you have one of your replies that's really good, then you can just post it right on your feed. And that's a great way to come up with content ideas. You should be responding to a lot of creators anyways, so it's a win-win for you. Another thing about replying, I typically try and respond as if I'm having a conversation with the person. I don't just spam, I agree, 100 times a day. And I also try not to just rephrase what the original post already said in the comments, because what's the point of that? I'll touch on this a little more later in the video. Okay, then I had this post about a productivity hack. This was the kind of post that I talked about earlier where I had some inspiration and I didn't post it right away, but then I noticed that I didn't have anything to post that afternoon, so I went to my drafts and posted that one. Okay, and then the last post of this day was a March Madness recap. Now you'll notice this doesn't really fall in line with most of the other stuff I was posting. It's a little more out there related to my hobbies, and the reason why I posted this is because I want this to seem like there's a real person behind the account. A lot of the X growth niche on X is filled with people who just spam platitudes and act kind of like a bot. So I really want to make sure that my account looks like it's a real person. At the end of this day, I had 202 followers, so that's another +1 for the day. Okay, now we come to March 22nd. So this was Friday. I woke up after a very motivating week. I gained quite a few followers, and I found that I was down 50 followers overnight. And basically what happened is X does periodic purges where they delete bot accounts. So 50 bots that followed me were deleted. And this was kind of disappointing for me. Not so much because my follower count went down or because these bots were deleted, but because I hadn't made as much progress as I thought I had. So this was kind of a difficult weekend for me after this happened. So after I noticed this, I tried to ignore it as best I could. So I made a post about my YouTube video that was being published that day. You'll notice that I tried to make the initial post kind of a hook or something to get people interested, and then the actual link to the video is in the first reply. And the reason why I do this is because links and other posts that take people off the platform get deboosted. So that's why I do it that way. Okay, then I was feeling pretty down about losing 50 followers. So I made a post about this, and there were actually a lot of other people who were posting similar things. And so I just wanted to see, what was going on, what were other people's experiences. So I made that post. And then I also quote posted on another creator's post about the bot purge and shared my thoughts. And the rationale behind these posts was, one, it's a trending topic that a lot of people are talking about, and two, it was something that was on my mind, and so I wanted to share my thoughts about it. Okay, and then the final post that day was about something that clicked for me at work. So I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers, and he mentioned that if he built a personal brand for himself on social media, it could potentially help him sell more product. So I work as a marketing manager for an artificial turf company, and I had the realization that I didn't need to separate my personal brand from my day job. I could bring those two together, and if I make it one concerted effort, it's going to be a lot less stressful on my brain to have to switch back and forth. I should use my personal brand to further all of my progress, not just selfishly my brand, but I can help it build up the company I work for too. So I want to make more posts about this on X. Obviously, I don't want to spam people with stuff they're not interested in, but posts about this every once in a while that help people see a window into my real life and realize that I'm not just someone who posts full-time on X or even YouTube, that I do have a day job. Okay, so I woke up in the morning, I had 147 followers. Thankfully, during that day, I was able to gain 2 back, and I finished with 149 followers. Okay, next day, I woke up and I received an awesome comment on this channel that I wanted to share, so I did so. And the reason why it can be good to share these is testimonials give your brand credibility. So this was a great comment that I received. It made me feel really good, so I wanted to share that. Then the other post I made that day was about buying a new microphone. So I bought a lav mic. I'm actually using it right now. You'll probably notice that the audio quality is substantially better than it has been in the past. There's been a lot of echo. In fact, I hope that you notice the audio quality is better. Otherwise, it was not worth it to buy this microphone, but I think it's going to greatly improve the quality of my videos going forward. But the point of making this post was that it shows progress along the journey. People like to follow your progress, and it kind of goes along with the principle of building in public. So buying a new microphone, investing in that is a step forward on my journey. Okay, so end of this day, I had 150 followers, so that's +1 on the day. Okay, then March 24th, my first post on this day was a quote tweet of Alessio, and there are a couple of reasons behind this post. Number one, it is good to quote other creators because often this leads to more impressions. It can also lead to the original poster responding to your post. It's also a great way for me to amplify something to my entire audience as opposed to leaving a reply. If I quote it, then I can share my response with my entire audience. So in this case, I wanted to teach my audience something about how to reply to other people. So I did it with a quote. Okay, and then my other post this day was about how I had had a difficult week. So this was aimed at not just sharing how I was feeling, but just letting people know that I'm a real person, I'm not perfect, and I don't always know what I'm doing sometimes. I'm doing my best, but I'm not where I want to be yet. And hopefully that humanizes me a little bit and doesn't make me seem like I'm just perfect all the time. Okay, at the end of this day, I had 152 followers, so that's +2 on the day. And if you notice at a certain point during this video that my blue check mark goes away, I am still subscribed to Premium. I just made a change to my display name. I added a period after the C, so they had to go in and review my account again before they can give me the check mark back. Okay, March 25th, this was Monday. So my first post of the day was a quote of the X Creators account. They shared some important news, and like I explained, I wanted to amplify my reply and share it with my whole audience because I thought that would be beneficial. Then the second post of the day was what's called a listicle. So I used a listicle to promote my YouTube video from that day. And you'll notice that the style of this post is a little different to the post I made earlier in the week to promote a different video. So I've been experimenting with including the thumbnail in the original post and then putting the link below, but I decided to change that up a little bit, and this listicle provided probably a lot more value to my audience as a post itself. And then if people wanted to learn more, they could go to the comments and watch the video. But I decided to be a little less in your face about the video, and I'll have to see how that goes moving forward. At the end of this day, I had 155 followers, so that's +3 on the day. Okay, then last day of the week, or day 7. First post I made was about Google My Business. So you remember how I talked about earlier in the video that I wanted to post more about my day job. This was a LinkedIn post that I made, and I decided why not throw it on X as well. I changed up the formatting a little bit to make it fit on the platform a little better, but overall it was pretty much the same content. I want my personal brand to encapsulate everything that I am, so I don't plan to post about my day job all the time, but every once in a while I'm gonna put out posts like this. Okay, and then last post of the week is a quote of Elon announcing that Grok will be available to all premium subscribers. So once again, this was important news that most people had probably seen already, but I wanted to share it with my followers because I thought it was important. So at the end of the last day, I had 156 followers. That's +1 on the day. And if you look at the week as a whole, technically I was down about 45 followers from when I started, but because those were just bots, I'm not going to count that. And if you look at where I started without bots, I was at 147, and then I improved to 156. So that is +9 followers on the week. And that's not bad. That's a little more than 1 follower a day. And hopefully, as I continue to grow and get better at writing, then I will gain followers faster.